our guest on the program, someone who describes himself as an engineer by chance and a teacher by choice. But that's not the only reason Baju Ravindran is with us today. He's also the one person who Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, decided to invest in. Yes, his startup Byju's is the first startup now in Asia to get funding from the Chan Zuckerberg initiative, which of course is one that has been started by Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan. Thanks so much for speaking to us, Ravindran, and many congratulations. This investment has created big headlines. Tell us, what was the process of getting him on board like? Were you nervous, excited, a bit of both?
Yeah, nervousness is something which, see, if you ask me, like, when you are asked to talk about what you do and what you are really passionate about, because this is something which is built around passion. See, if you just see the background, I'm an engineer by chance, a teacher by choice, which I realized once I started teaching. Talking about this to anyone is very natural, because this is what you really love doing, right? So I don't think I've never been nervous about talking about, especially passionately talking about what is so close to you, which is almost like what you do day in, day out, right? So I was very comfortable and equally excited, and I think that the passion comes out. If you ask me why they made their first investment in Asia through us, it's majorly because the first reason, how we use technology to personalize learning. How we are solving a big problem which is around access. And the second one is also the fact that it's used not just in metros, but more than 70% of the users come from outside the top 10 cities. In fact, more than 1,400 towns students are actively using it. And these are two reasons what really got them excited. And it's a big validation that we have got some of the most prominent edtech investors on board. And now it's an even bigger validation with Chan Zuckerberg coming on board.
And how is this one experience different from pitching to others? You've done it in the past with so many others, Sequoia, Mohandas Pai and so on. But what was different? What was special about this one?
Lot more exciting to me in terms of the global excitement it's already created in terms of whether it's the post or the news around it. So that way it's of a different scale. The perception about the brand has changed, and we also expect them to be good partners in terms of giving us or taking us or helping us to go global, helping us to launch in more markets, more international markets.
We're looking at an education system, Ravindran, in India, where, you know, there is a lot of sort of pressure on rote learning. That's what students are expected to do. It's 100% or nothing to get into India's top institutions. Of course, there's no one-size-fits-all, but the system doesn't always recognize that. And you're someone who's now trying to personalize all that training online. But how can we really transform the system as a whole?
System is about, it's creating a lot of students who are getting trained to solve questions, but they're not getting trained to find them. Finding problems, that is, or in simpler language, asking questions, right? Do we ask questions? Do we ask enough questions in our school system? Students don't ask questions. They only memorize, replicate, and then forget once the exam is over. It's very important that we need to bring that childlike curiosity back in students, and that's where creating a product in this format, which they like, which kind of enables them to learn, rather, as I mentioned, which makes them better learners, and that's the complete focus over here.
Right, and there's of course, you know, your own story, really very inspiring. You've been described as a brilliant student. You studied in a Malayalam medium school. You've got 100 percentile in the CAT exams, not once but twice, I've just read. But you often bunk classes to play football and cricket. Now, how did all of that out of the classroom learning and sporting activity really make you and sort of shape you into what you are today?
So much focus on now. First, sitting so many hours in a classroom, then in a tuition class, then go back and home doing the homework. The fact is, those real life skills, if you want me to name them, which it's like how to play in a team, or in other words, how to work in a team, how to lead a team, how to perform under pressure, how to have that controlled aggression, how to become extremely positive. Now, these are all scenarios which is very difficult to replicate in a classroom scenario, right? So these are things which you need to learn in a completely unstructured environment by going out and enjoying the playing outdoors. And that's why I call it, I'm calling it outdoor learning. That's also learning because which is very important. The amount of time which I've spent outside classrooms, I think have helped me even more in both ways, because first it taught me those real life skills. Second, it also kind of made, so I didn't get influenced by that much of spoon feeding which typically happens in our system, because since I was spending so many time outside classrooms, I kind of forced me to learn on my own. Marks anyway will be taken care of. Marks are important because you need some assessments and grading systems, but the focus has to be on learning.
And what are your plans now going forward? What are your plans for the future? Where do you see yourself, say, 5 years from now?
Yeah, as I mentioned, there's a long way to go, right? It's such a large segment with more than 260 million students. In fact, this is the largest schools system in the world with more than 260 million students in schools today in K-12. I don't want to talk about some business numbers here, but what is the key here is in a segment like education, right, where the real fun is not in creating a billion-dollar company. In fact, it's in changing the way millions think and learn.
Right, given that we're this young country full of buzzing entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, and really the third biggest startup economy in the world, there are all those who perhaps looking at you for some sort of advice. You began as a 2 lakh investment from your own pocket, and now there's no less than Zuckerberg investing in you. What would you say? What are the tips that you would like to hand out?
Once you understand what you like, if you can pursue that with relentless passion, there is a good chance that you will end up making an impact, and success is nothing but making an impact. Everything else will come behind you.
Well, all the very best and many, many congratulations again. That's of course Baiju Ravindran speaking to us on that big investment that he's secured and also bigger headlines that he's got. Thanks very much.